Ladies and gentlemen, this next podcast will be scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Nicholas Jason Lopez. And on the other side of the ring, his website, ProWrestlingOpinion.com, your home for pro wrestling news, reviews, and so much more. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to the newest episode of Intermission, where I talk about pro wrestling for about 15 minutes, current news, all that fun stuff, mumbo jumbo. And obviously, the talk of the town would be the Royal Rumble, so without any further ado, I am logged into Facebook, so I'm about to just scroll my timeline and we're going to see what people are talking about. Alright, first post is a picture of Seth Rollins, who is, spoiler alert, the Royal Rumble winner of the men's contest. I just had to specify that because, some people will probably think Becky Lynch somehow maneuvered her way into the men's Royal Rumble because she's the man and can do so. Just want to clarify that did not happen. Seth Rollins won the male Royal Rumble and Becky Lynch won the female Royal Rumble. Now it all went down pretty interestingly, I must say. And again, going into the Rumble, Rollins was the logical choice here. It really wouldn't make sense to give it to Braun Strowman, given that his push on the babyface side of things is kind of lacking, and with WrestleMania in the loom, a match with Brock Lesnar doesn't really light my candle the way that a Brock Lesnar-Seth Rollins WrestleMania match would. And they have history between them, too. I mean, there's already a feud there. Heyman could simply say Rollins never beat Lesnar. He stole Lesnar's title at WrestleMania 31. He just came in and swooped it up. He's still yet to beat the Beast when it counts. And then Rollins has his own thing. He could just run around the ring and scream, "Burn it down!" And people will love it, and they'll start a chant. It's just a much better WrestleMania match, at least right now. A lot of memes going around of Brock Lesnar's of the face that he made when he made Finn Balor tap out to the Kimura. I can only describe it as the face you make when you either A, shit yourself, B, wake up late for work, or my favorite, C, shit yourself when you realize you wake up late for work. Obviously, there's a guy, man, person, and it's ON3L0V3. That's a terrible Twitter name, bro. Change it. But, he posted a meme of Lesnar's very memeable face. When your girl checks your browser history, hashtag Royal Rumble. Pretty much on the point. That's not gonna... Yeah, that only enhances it, if anything else. Oh my god, Stone Cold Steve Austin and a Mean Girls reference. Sitting in the front seat of what I assume to be like an SUV or perhaps a zoomed-in version of one of his monster trucks when that was all the rage back in the 90s. He looks like 1998, 1999 Stone Cold, so I'm going to just judge right off the bat. Get in, you piece of trash! We're on the road to WrestleMania! That was a really bad Stone Cold impression, but you get it. You know, it all makes sense. Another one coming up, Becky Lynch won the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match at WWE, hashtag Royal Rumble. Lana died for our sins. Now, that's just pretty hilarious on its own. And again, I really want to commend Creative for coming out with the scenario. I was going Charlotte all the way unless Becky Lynch somehow got involved. I didn't see Lynch beating Asuka off the bat, so that wasn't happening no matter what. So they skirted around it, and they still managed to find a way to what we're most likely going to be getting is Becky Lynch against Ronda Rousey. The Survivor Series match that didn't happen is going to happen again, but at WrestleMania. Lynch is the biggest name right now in the company, so you put her right up against Ronda Rousey, who also held her own against Sasha Banks. I mean, sometimes there could be a part-time thing with Ronda Rousey, you know, just not being fully involved, but you can't say none of her matches have been great. They've been as advertised, as promised, and thus, this is why we get what we get. It's basically the best of both worlds just happening at once, and the only sad thing coming around it is that Becky Lynch won't be on SmackDown pushing this match. She'll be on Raw, which I guess the 3-hour show could use her, so I'm not going to complain about that. Another meme going around is of Lana's very, very slow descent, which she never actually made it to the ring. Walking into work after staying up for a 6-hour Royal Rumble, like Lana stumbling out with her ankle. I mean, there's no other better way to say it. I don't know where WWE went with this, that they thought it was okay for... And sometimes I was wondering, is this Royal Rumble or is this pre-WrestleMania? One thing I will commend of recent years is that with bigger venues and bigger crowds, they've managed to make the Royal Rumble event almost as high as importance as WrestleMania. Maybe just under the totem pole. That aside, these are the downsides of having longer show times, and I guess this is what happens when you run your own network. You could just say, well, screw it. I'll just throw on a show as long as I can. The people are sitting here watching it already. What's it gonna hurt for one more hour, one more minute, one more day? Just talking about it just got me tired. But yeah, I mean, if there was a if there was a way to describe the feeling that most wrestling fans had sitting through all of that, and this became a thing back in like 2016, even dating back to like 2015, starting at WrestleMania, it's too much content. Usually, wrestling fans will never argue about there being too much wrestling content, but there's too much wrestling content, especially with everything that you have to keep up with. It's almost a second unpaid job, full time, of course. Actually, more than full time, full time. So you're doing overtime on the double full time, if that makes sense. It makes about as much sense as OW's content schedule. So, all right, getting back to things. Beth Copeland, as you all know, the former Beth Phoenix. Small club, big dreams, risk taken, all worth it. Hashtag China, hashtag Karma, hashtag Naya, hashtag Royal Rumble, hashtag Equality. That would be a reference to Nia Jax taking part in the male Royal Rumble, which R-Truth was very incapacitated. I guess him and Lana are in a training room somewhere crying. I'm gonna assume that's the case. And I'll give Nia some credit. She took some really big bumps. She proved she could hang with the big boys. I thought if Ronda Rousey wasn't champion, she would be the one in that male rumble. And if anybody can make male boots shake, it would be her. 26 years ago today, the wrestling world lost the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, who passed away at the age of 46. Really sad thing to bring up, but I mean, the guy is a legend. So many stories of him and his alcoholism. They say an urban legend was, well, not an urban legend, but that he supposedly had 42 beers in one sitting, which is, just my liver hurts thinking about that. Moving on. Rusev tweets, so technically, Lana WWE won. Congrats, honey. I love you. We are going to WrestleMania. I mean, technically speaking, that would be true. I guess Lana is living vicariously through Becky Lynch. I don't know if that's going to carry on, but we'll see how that develops. Someone posted Sheamus as Rocksteady in 2016's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which looks really bad in that picture. Another picture advertising the Worlds Collide special next Saturday at 8 p.m., streaming only on the WWE Network, bringing together 205 Live, NXT, and the NXT UK brand. That could, in fact, be very interesting. I just don't see where that could go wrong. And if you can, well, prove it. Prove me wrong. Another show, another meme bragging on how long the Royal Rumble was. Shows The Undertaker sitting up in the casket, waking up for work the morning after the Royal Rumble. And the caption is, "That show was way, way too long." I agree with you, buddy. Another post about Seth Rollins winning the Rumble. I guess you could call it the Year of the Man. WWE tweets out, "Man, oh man, Becky did it. At Becky Lynch, WWE is going to WrestleMania. Hashtag Royal Rumble." That's pretty much on point. Yeah. Also, another picture of Rhea Ripley and Casey Catanzaro at the Women's Rumble 2019. As you both know, they both made an appearance, so that came out pretty good. And again, this is something that goes around to when they have NXT people debut in a Rumble. It could be good and it could be bad, depending on what side of the fence that you're on. It could be good because it's instant exposure. Obviously, it worked for like AJ Styles, but he didn't have NXT to fall back on. He was just right up to the main roster. From that point forward, it did take him a few months to settle in, though. I will say that. So the Royal Rumble, it's a good introduction, but you have to follow up on it. Another meme I'm seeing about the Orton and Nia Jax face-off is a recreation of the woman who got called Sir at the store and basically wreaked havoc on the poor little cashier. And basically the meme says it's ma'am, 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 which is pretty fitting. We didn't see Nia Jax bump over any sunglasses displays in the ring, sadly, but there's plenty of time between now and Mania to make that happen. Another close-up of Nia Jax's RKO bump, which had to be pretty up there. I mean, there's no other way around that. Another post stemming back from NXT from 2 days ago of Gargano and Ciampa both holding their titles proud, harkening back to the WrestleMania 20 photo of Benoit and Guerrero with Vince McMahon holding Benoit's face and Eddie still in there. A little bit of a shot at, oh, hey, Benoit doesn't exist, this and that. But, yeah. I don't really know what they're going with that, but I guess it accomplished its mission. Wrestling in Our Passion post. Wow, what a Royal Rumble match. Aleister Black, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and then Nia Jax beats up R-Truth to take number 30. Eliminates Mufasa Ali. Oh, God, you lost me there. Now everybody's going to be calling him Mufasa. Now you make him think of the Lion King. Look what you have done. What have you done to your followers? But yeah, moving on. Jax eliminates Ali, eats an RKO in a 619, which you see a lot in the indies. Just never thought they'd bring it back to WWE. Then Seth Rollins wins after eliminating Strowman. I don't know who I want him to face. It is pretty obvious that a Lesnar and Rollins match is the WrestleMania way to go. And that's about it for intermission. Thank you. Have a good one.